20 years ago I first started kind of getting involved in Thai boxing. A friend of mine came out to Thailand to train, said, oh, you got to go to Lumpini, Ratchaman, that kind of thing. It's the real deal. And at the time I was kind of planned on having one trip for a month, a bit of training, maybe have a fight, see how it went, and I kind of came out and fell in love and with this whole of Thailand, the people, the food, you name it, you know. And went on from there to come back and live for 6 months, started to pick the language up, and it just kind of went on as a big long adventure ever since. But mainly just purely about Muay Thai though. I've always been a huge fan of the whole of the scene in Thailand, the fighters, the sport itself, the excitement, the whole range of techniques. There's so many different aspects to the sport, you know. You've got the strong clinch fighters, the hard punchers that can finish a fight one shot like Anuwat. You've got the technical masters like Saenchai that are just, skills are unbelievable. The atmosphere in the stadiums when you've got a big fight night and the gamblers are betting a lot of money on the fights. There's still a traditional side to it here now, but it's become more of a business in Thailand itself now. You know, it's more business run around gambling and that kind of thing. It's more of a business now than an actual traditional sport, but it's still deeply rooted in the tradition as well. The fighters still performing the white crew before the fights, and they're wearing what they call krung rung, the mongkon, the papajit, which they wear around the arms. There's still very strong spiritual and sort of traditional overtones about the sport, even though it's very much a business now. You know. Kaewsamrit Gym, it's got a very good reputation in Thailand. Not just for the quality of fighters it produces. I mean, it's won the Gym of the Year award in 2002. It was like runner-up, third place every other year. It's right up there every year. It's got very good credit with the boxing community, with the gamblers as well, for producing honest fighters that go in there. It's produced two best boxers, Anuwat, and before him another guy, Yodsanklai Kaewsamrit, a very strong technical fighter who in his time was unbeatable about 5 years ago. It's very well known, he's produced a lot of champions. Anuwat, basically, I mean, he's very well known in Thailand, he's a superstar in Thailand. There's only ever been 2 fighters to win the Sports Writers of the Year award twice. When he won the Sports Fighter of the Year award the first time, he fought a boxer called Singdam Gitmukau. Singdam won the award the year before, and the year before, just after he won it, they put him in the ring against Anuwat at Ratchaman Stadium, and Anuwat knocked him out in the 3rd round. So a very explosive puncher. You can't blink when he fights, and you'll get a big crowd. He's still the highest paid fighter in Thailand, just purely on the pulling power he has to draw people into the stadium. Whether or not he wins or loses, there'll always be a big crowd to bet whether he's going to knock him out or not. I mean, if he doesn't knock his opponent out, chances are he loses comfortably on points. You know, he'll get beaten, outpointed. The guys, they'll just stay away from the punches and pick him off. But if he hits them on the chin, 9 times out of 10, they don't get up.
เริ่มชกตั้งแต่อายุ13 ปี
He started out fighting when he was 13. He had a friend that was already here. He's actually a relation of the boss, his own wife as well. And he came up with his friend, and first of all, he just came up to help out in the kitchen, cleaning up, that kind of thing. Saw the other guys training and fighting, making a name for themselves, and thought, I want to do that too.
ครั้งแรกชนะน็อกชอบใจ
First fight he won KO, and that was it. He wanted I want more.
ผมอยากไปเที่ยวต่างประเทศหลายๆประเทศ
He said he's won more or less every title there is to win now in Muay Thai. He said if any more come his way, yeah, he'll gladly take them. But that's not so important to him. His real targets for the future, he wants to travel as much as he can, go to as many different countries and fight as he can.
เป็นประเทศที่ธรรมชาติสวย
He liked Holland in itself because he said beautiful country, beautiful countryside, a lot of trees around. A lot of the Thai fighters are country boys from heart, so they like that when they go abroad and see that as well. But about the fighting itself, he loved the crowd. The crowd, they're real enthusiastic Muay Thai fans, and they really got behind the fights too. He really liked that.
มันคนละอย่างคนไทยจะเชียร์อีกแบบ
They're very different like perspectives between the two. Like in Holland, it's like the fans there, they love the style, they love the technique. It's like an art to them, you know, and they like to see the fighters win in a stylish way. In Thailand, they like to see a close fight that they can gamble on.
เรื่องหมัดมันต่างกันครับ
He said it's difficult to really explain, but he said the Thai fighters tend to have the edge in the technique. Technically, they're that bit sharper, their timing, and their control of the ring, whereas the Dutch fighter is very strong, very hard punches.
เดินห้างดูหนัง
He likes to go around the malls, go around shopping, that kind of thing, watch movies, but he's a very big game fan. PlayStation 2, you see in his room, he's got stacks of games and also goes on the computer too. Fairtix attire is far removed from most Muay Thai camps in Thailand as you can get. I mean, it's as you can see, a multi-million-pound leisure centre, resort, sports club, hotel. It's got everything you need. It's probably the best Muay Thai training facility, bar none, in Thailand. Possibly, around Asia, at least. Invested a huge amount of money into the place, and from the rooms, the accommodation, the training facilities, everything is world class. Yodsanklai he was already a very famous fighter in Thailand before Fairtix. He came to Fairtix. He used to fight under the name Yodsanklai Petchindi. He was a very famous young fighter. The boxing computer, his nickname, very stylish, very good brain, very dangerous with his hands and elbows and strong kicks. He was Lumpini champion at the smallest weight. He got bigger and bigger. He's been in with a lot of big names in the past, and he's still very young. He got bigger and bigger. Then Fairtix decided to take his contract over, and they built him up as a bigger fighter. Since he's been at Fairtix, he's won the Lumpini welterweight title, the WBC World Championship at, I think, middleweight or light middleweight, the Thailand light middleweight, and he's become very dominant at the 70 kilo division. Very, very strong, explosive hitter, very hard punches, solid kicks.
ชื่อยอดเซนไกแฟร์ติกครับก็ผมเริ่มชกมวยตั้งแต่อายุ8 ขวบครับ
He had his first fight when he was 8 years old. His fight name Yodsanklai Fairtix, and he's 22 years old now.
ที่แรกครับพ่อแม่ผมก็ชอบที่พ่อแม่ชอบแล้วก็อีกอย่าง
He's basically his mother and father both like boxing as well, and his older brother and him, they were always fighting. So that was the decision, right? You like fighting so much, we get you in the gym. His older brother fought okay, a good level. Yodsanklai Petchindi, he fought Lumpini, and he fought in a tournament as well. So it's kind of in the blood.
ตอนที่ผมมีรายการชกครับ20 วันนี้ครับ20 วัน
So before a fight, 20 to 25 days hard training. He doesn't go anywhere, doesn't leave the gym unless it's just to maybe go out, buy some fruit, buy some, like what they call bamrung, which is like, like some soup or something that the body needs, vitamins, that kind of thing, protein. Other than that, and then he's in bed by 10 o'clock every night.
ผมก็อยากโชว์ครับกับบัวขาวเพราะว่าบัวขาวเขาเป็นซูเปอร์สตาร์
He'd love to fight, be a chance to fight Buakaw as well, because obviously he recognises Buakaw, very famous, big name, and he wants to try and take Buakaw, beat Buakaw, and obviously make himself more famous too.
ที่เป็นฮีโร่ของผมครับตอนนั้น
He went two of his big idols have been Kaesai Galaxy, a very famous international boxing world champion. I think he's one of the longest reigning world champions, or made the most title defense. I think he was WBA World Champion, international rules, and also Saenchai Sikruad. That's where he got his name from, Yodsanklai. Saenchai was a very famous fighter back in the day, and he went on. He was at the gym that Yodsanklai was at, Sikruad gym in Muay, and he was kind of like a hero. When he went to the gym, he was still fighting, and he went on to be his trainer. This guy was a famous Lumpini superstar back in the day.
สำหรับผมคงมีต้องอะไรต้อง
Now he thinks more or less he's kind of, as for being a fighter himself, he's completely knows, you know, more or less all there is to know. But what he studies now is his opponents. He's like, that's what he needs to study on and work on now, just looking and studying the opponents. Oh, I mean, there's so many great camps, you know, and it doesn't necessarily always have to be a big name, state of the art. I mean, obviously you've seen Fairtix, fantastic facilities. They produce great fighters, but that's not necessary. It has to be that way, you know. I mean, you can go to some gyms out in the countryside and they've literally got nothing much in a very small ring, run down, a couple of bags to kick, but it's the people behind it, the trainers, the manager, and the boxers themselves that make the camps, you know. Saenchai, he's basically right now, I mean, he's considered without a doubt the pound for pound #1 fighter in Thailand, without a doubt. Every fight he has to normally give up his opponents 3, 4, many times even 5 pounds in weight. Weighs in 5 pounds lighter in the morning, and often gives them a boxing lesson as well, even after they're losing that much weight. Three Lumpini titles in the past, former Boxer of the Year, you name it, he's been in with any of the good fighters, he's been in with them all, you know. Sublime talent, he's a very skillful, he's got perfect balance, his brain's like a boxing computer, he's got every weapon in the book, as you can see there. Very skillful, very fast. He's basically got everything. 6 years old, he's had one fight already. I said, oh, did you win? Or he said, no, I lost, but I won the heart of the crowd. He doesn't take a lot of damage. He very rarely comes out of a fight being bashed up, or so the longevity's there. You know, he can go on a little bit longer than some of the guys that just walk forward, take 3 shots to land one. You know.
ครับผมแสนชัยซอ Kingstar ครับผมอายุ
He's Saenchai Kingstar, 27 years old, and he trains out of the 13 Coins gym in Ramanine Road.
ตอนเด็กๆซนซุกซนแล้วก็แถวหมู่บ้าน
When he was young, he was quite, you know, he was like a normal kid, but around where he lived, there was lots of other fighters coming to Bangkok, making a name for themselves, Lumpini and Ratchaman. They were getting famous and making money, and he wanted to do that, help his family too.
ก็คือไฟล์แรกก็ชกที่บ้านที่โรงเรียนตัวเองนี่ครับ
His first fight he fought actually in his own school, where he was, so he had lots of guys cheering him on, and first time he ever got any money in his hand as well. He got the chance to make money as well, have money, and he's like, I want more of this. That made him determined to become a fighter.
ครับผมก็เป็นนักมวยที่ชกฝีมือ
He's a southpaw. He likes fights as a southpaw, left kick, right, left punch. But primarily he's a very technical fighter. He likes to use the basic, all the techniques. He doesn't like to just go forward and, you know, have a tear up. And he likes to fight in a stylish way, using his brain, using all the techniques that there are.
ผมก็จินตนาการมาด้วยผมก็อยากทำที่อะไรที่มันที่
He said he likes it. It's like a classic Thai boxing technique from the olden days. He said he's the only fighter in Thailand that brave enough, or that's skilled enough to use that technique. He practiced it for about 2 years, and whenever he's fought in France and Japan, the crowd love it. It's like a classic technique. He loves to put the show on with these different types of technique.
ผมใช่ไหมครับเวลามีโปรแกรมนี้ใช่ไหมครับ
Whenever he has a fight, he's normally like the standards 2 weeks, 20 days, that kind of thing. But when he trains, he tends to, like in Thailand, it's easy because he knows what all the opponents are like. But very much he'll look for the technique of the fighter, and they'll work on that, tailor the training for that fight towards that fighter. For instance, if he's fighting a puncher, he'll work a lot on push kicks, keeping a high guard. If he's fighting a clinch fighter, he'll have to do a lot more grappling, that kind of thing. So he trains just to the opponent.
เป้าหมายตอนนี้ครับก็คือตอนนี้เป้าหมายการ
He's basically now he's more or less run out of opponents in Thailand. He wants to go and fight abroad now. Like we've said already, promote the sport, make a name for the sport around the world even more, and also he wants to make a gym for himself, go back and forth hopefully in the future between the two, promote Muay Thai around the world, and also build his own gym up and his fighters. Guys you've spoken to so far, I mean, Saenchai and Anuwat, you're talking about probably 2 biggest names in Muay Thai right now. Anuwat is maybe not as dominant as he was 2 years ago. He won the Sports Right of the Year award 2 years in a row. Since then, his style is kind of like he takes a lot of punishment in his fights. He walks forward. It's hard work, so he's been a little bit tired in his last few fights. Ever since he got to one level, he had no one to fight. Everyone he fought was a lot bigger than him, so he kind of suffered a little bit by his own success. He's still at the top, but maybe not quite as dominant as he was. But Saenchai is without a doubt the best fighter in Thailand by a long way. He's pound for pound the best series. I would say, in my own opinion, pound for pound the best fighter in the world. That's the only setback he has. He'd be too small. K1 70 kilos, he could probably compete in it, but he'd lose out size-wise. And plus also a lot of his techniques are taken away from him. I mean, Saenchai is like a master technician. The way they rule the fights in K1, he'll get the guy, spin him around, throw him on the floor. It's not scoring, jumping elbows. A lot of his techniques taken away from him there as well.